Hey guys, I use Adobe Photoshop CS6 and the Wacom Intuos Pro Medium. I was on Twitch just now, just streaming, painting this. Like I ended up drawing all these for an example after I showed how to do the proportions thing, and I also ended up painting like all of them. Kind of just arranged them, and it's all recorded. I'm probably going to speed it up in this tutorial, but it's actually on my Twitch channel. Special thanks to Psychra. I got to do a live stream with him. That was my last video there. But yeah, so thanks for everyone who tuned in, and thanks to the 14 people who tuned into Twitch in the last hour. They got to watch all this happen. Well, today we're going to draw some faces from the side. All you need, ladies and gentlemen, is to be able to draw a triangle, a circle, and a rectangle. And you might be like, what are you talking about? Well, let me show you. Now, this is basically a method that I came up with to get proportion right. Not every time, but just kind of like get an idea of how to draw well-proportioned faces from the side for females. And I'll show you why it doesn't apply exactly for males. I mean, for some feminine-looking males, maybe. But here we go. So we got a triangle, right? And when you draw this triangle, don't draw one of these, because we want it to be equal, well, sort of equal on both sides, because this is like way low, and then that's really short. And also don't draw if it's like, here's a top one, don't draw the second part of the triangle like really small like that. Don't do that, because it's too small. Moving on, now within this triangle, we're going to draw another one. It'll make sense very soon. And let's keep that middle line there. I'll make it a new layer, but it's basically the same shape as the first triangle, and you do that, right? But we want it sort of over here, so it's just above the center line. So I'll do that again, right there, right? And if we were to scale it up, it's pretty much the same shape as that triangle. So let's put it back. Another triangle, except on the outside. You know, I'm all about shapes and triangles, so let's it's going to be something like this, right? And depending on the shape of this will kind of guide what the nose will look like. And then we just draw a line here. You know, you can sort of start to see what's happening and where I'm taking this, but we can even actually make that another triangle like that if you want, but I like to put a line. And now let's draw that circle. So where does that go? Does it go here? Well, no, we're trying to draw the head, you know, the cranium. So we don't want to put it here. That doesn't make sense either. We want to put it here. That's probably a bit too big, so I'm going to make it a little bit lower. Now, you don't want to do this, because that's not a circle. You don't want to do that. That's definitely not a circle. You want to do this, right? Now, it doesn't have to be a perfectly round circle, but for the sake of the tutorial, we'll do like somewhat of a perfectly round circle, right? And it's just going to serve as a guide. God, why don't I just do it on a separate layer? All right, so it's going to be like a guide. Now the rectangle part is going to be the neck. Now the rectangle is going to be like this, right? It's angled because I'm implying that it's more of a natural kind of pose or stance. You sort of want to have it line up sort like it's aiming at the eye area, because this is the eye, by the way, if you haven't figured that out. Now for the neck, you don't want it to be super thick, right? That just looks weird, right? You don't want it to be super thin, because that also looks weird, unless of course that's the purpose of your design for your character. But really, you want to like kind of find the decent balance and something like this, and depending on the stylization that you're going for. And of course, the underside of the chin will be kind of like that, right? And then where the triangle meets, that's kind of where the ear is, right? And I'm gonna, excuse me, change the shape of the circle for a little bit. Now if we erase out, you know, like that's a pretty well proportioned face, I think. It's not like, yeah, okay, so alright, so if we were to draw on top of this, okay, like look, okay, that's where the eye goes, right? And I wouldn't just draw a straight line for the triangle. No, just make it curved because that's the shape of the eye. And then the eyebrow goes like something like that. Then we have the forehead. And then the nostrils kind of go like that. And this is, by the way, from observation. You kind of have to know what goes where, but this is a general placement of where things can go for it to seem like well proportioned, right? Now this is more for like realism or even semi-realism. Now if you're looking at different anime or animated things, the positioning of all the triangles and the lines and the center line is way different. So I'll explain that in a second. Alright, now the reason I said this is for a female is because for the female, I mean, I've come to kind of discover this on my own. I don't know if this is out there, but these halves are pretty equal, but for a male, this lower line is actually lower. Now it's not, because for a male jaw, it's actually lower and actually more square too, so it's like at a right angle. So we'll go ahead and do another one for a male just for the sake of explaining it. So we have the circle and the rectangle, which is probably thicker for a male, but let's just say that the triangle is lower, so it's like that, right? And then the eye goes there, and then the jaw becomes a bit of a right angle, but you know, the nose is sort of in the same spot, and then that line. And then if we were to lower the opacity and draw on top of that, it's going to be bigger because it's male. Draw the ear, eye, eyebrow, forehead, nose, mouth, and already you can tell just by shifting that lower jawline, it makes it definitely more masculine, right? There's a sternocleidomastoid if you are interested in anatomy. And there you go. Those are the two male versus female proportions. Now, if we were to test this and be like, okay, well, what if we did lower the jawline for this first one that we did? Let's duplicate it. Let me move this one aside. Bring this one over. Okay. And I'm dying. Okay, and then let's take all of this and bring it down. Let's take that, bring it down. Alright, and let's put a square effect here. Everything actually goes out of proportion and stuff, and it just feels way different. But bringing the jaw down just automatically makes it seem more masculine, right? Now, of course, it seems a little bit feminine because there's still the eyelashes. But if we just thicken up that eyebrow, that's a dude, right? You could even push the brow ridge forward. That also makes it more masculine. And it's just a very subtle change, but it makes all the difference. Let's test this again in reverse. Let's see if we can make the dude more feminine. It's funny, I wasn't really planning on doing this. I was just going to do a bunch of girls, but this, I think this communicates what I'm trying to say. So if we were to bring everything down so that's kind of like there, so it fits into that. All right, let's try this. Do not try this at home. Just kidding. Try this at home. That's where you draw. So let's move the ear up to where that is, a little smaller. Let's get all of this junk to fit into there, into that line. And let's just get rid of this jawline. And then this should be way higher. Come on. Cooperate with me, Photoshop. That should be smaller. And that should be a little smaller. And let's follow this line. It looks so funny because the back of the head is way too big too. So everything actually ends up getting affected by changing the jaw size. So it still looks a bit masculine. Let's keep tweaking it. Alright, it doesn't look like too girly, right? But it's definitely more feminine than the dude in the middle. Also, another trick is just make the chin a lot smaller, which of course means making the mouth a lot smaller. Yeah, actually that definitely looks way more feminine. Kind of androgynous. There you have it. That's how you do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop talking so that I can get in the zone and do some drawings, and maybe I'll take one a bit further and color it up and see what happens. Okay, yeah, this is the part where I'm speeding it up, and but you can see that I'm using the triangle method. So for each and every one of these faces, you can probably trace over them and put that triangle and draw the line to the middle, and then see that the nose lines up sort of around there, and yeah. So on top of that, you can also see that some of these I turned slightly into perspective, and what I mean is like I started with the triangle thing, and then I just implied that you could sort of almost see the other eye, and I did that for a couple of these, and it's pretty easy to do. I mean, it's like also you might see a cat pig looking thing that I drew in there. But yeah, so yeah, you turn the head a little bit, but since we established the proportions from the beginning, it's like, yeah, you're good to go. I also tried to draw a evil-looking girl, because like all of the other girls were like all happy, whatever. So I'm like, I'm gonna draw like a fire chick or something. So that's that. I got really so with that girl with the braid in the hair, I got really frustrated later on when I was trying to paint it. And I think I ended up painting every single one because people were watching on Twitch. I was like, well, I can't just stop now. And so yeah, I kept going. But they got to witness all the mistakes, and it's all recorded. I think it stays in the broadcast for a while. I'm not sure when it deletes, but it's there, and it's something that you could check out. I don't really know fully how to use all the broadcasting software and all that stuff, so I'm still getting used to it, and it's a learning process. So those of you that stuck around, thanks, and I'm gonna get better. But yeah, I think, see, my go-to colors are like often the same, so it's like, okay, yeah, purple hair, magenta hair, blonde hair or something. I think next time I'll try to change it up, maybe do some more brunettes, or even maybe do a series of like male heads and faces. I know I've been like doing mostly girls because it's like I find them to be pretty, so why not? Yeah. Oh well, at least I changed. No, it's still magenta. Yeah, so that's the face with the brown hair that I ended up messing up, and I'm like, I don't feel like fixing it. And I tried to fix it and just was not working out. I think there was something wrong with the perspective, because I was trying to force that perspective too much, like from the side to the 3/4 view, and it just was not working. And so I just ended up scribbling over it, like, you know what, guys, screw this. This is my solution, and still scribble it and walk away. But yeah, elf girls, I think we confirmed in the Twitch chat that the moment you make pointy ears, she's automatically cuter. That's actually a proven fact, so yeah. Anyway, well, thanks for watching this. I think I probably should head to bed. I thought I was gonna maybe split this up into 2 videos so you guys can check it out, so it's not so sped up. But since you can go watch it on Twitch, it's like, I'm just gonna do this. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys later. Feel free to like the Facebook page and all that Instagram, Twitter stuff. I don't feel like putting the graphic for that right now because my bed is calling me, and I'd rather sleep than finish editing this video. Alright, adios. I use Photoshop CS6 and the Wacom Intuos Pro Medium. Now I use Adobe Photoshop CS6 and the Wacom Intuos Pro Medium.